Hey guys, another quick update on Shannon. I jumped up this morning fairly early trying to get this one done so I can get it back to primeredisbest. And got to get Tim Dixon's van in here, get it knocked out so I can get back on my white truck. I'm going to be picking up left turn bill. I think we're going to do several more things to it. Not exactly sure yet. I got to talk to primeredisbest, but anyway, I've lowered this one. I think we done a 4.6 drop on it. Kind of had a time with the drive shaft. I've never run into that. Lowering one of these, but the drive shaft was too long once it lowered it, which is a little odd because the wheel center's the same. So I'm not sure how we ran into that exactly. But, you know, because once you flip that to the top, you move that axle back about an inch so to get your wheel center back. But anyway, it's done and over with now. I haven't drove the truck yet. I'm fixing to do that. It's a little wet. It rained pretty bad yesterday. I typically wouldn't drive people's stuff on these nasty wet roads, but time is of the essence, so I'm going to have to run it up and down the road. I don't want to just take it to him and then him run into issues with it. We done on the transmission, we done a pan seal. Of course, changed transmission fluid. I don't typically change transmission fluid, but when you drop the pan, you kind of have to. You can drain, catch some of it, and put some of the old back in. Something that hadn't been changed in years, I just don't fool with changing. I didn't change the filter, and it probably had enough in the converter that it will mix with that new fluid, so it should be fine. But done a shift shaft selector seal and the rear seal. The front seal didn't seem to be leaking, luckily. Done an oil pan gasket, rear main seal, distributor, plugs, wires. Had to fool with the carburetor again. New belts, vent window, door locks, several things. I can't remember what all. We put the bumper guards on it, a whole bunch of stuff. We'd already done all the new brakes and stuff prior to me lowering it, so all that was already on there. I think we done ball joints and stuff. Yeah, we done upper and lower ball joints when I lowered it. It had one bad and one that was kind of sketchy, so when you do one suspension part, you might as well do them in pairs. And so all these are new. All new brake hoses. Just a whole bunch of stuff's been done to this truck. And that's what you run into when you find one's been setting. People don't really understand that. They see that, you know, these old trucks are bringing good money, but they don't really see the work you got to put in them to get them out here on the road, to, you know, dependably, and not have to worry about it breaking down or hitting the brakes and it jerking one direction or the other. There's a lot to it, but anyway, this truck hadn't been on the road in a lot of years. What little bit it has been on the road has been very short little trips, you know, maybe to the end of my road and back. So we're about to see what it does. I'll try to take y'all along with me, and again, just kind of see how it does. Make sure the drive shaft's going to work. Make sure it's not going to act crazy. You never know. I don't foresee any issues with it, but you just never know. You hear that rattling? That's the rocker panels for it that Tim Dixon's going to put in the truck. But and again, kind of see how the carburetor's going to do. It's hard to tell what a carburetor's going to do. You might get one where it's sitting there idling great, starting good, then you get to a stop sign, hit the brake, and it dies. So kind of want to see how that's going to act before Jimmy and Rita jump in it. You know, just in case. Jimmy kind of knows. He has a bunch of these old trucks and stuff, so he knows how to handle one when it does die. But at the same time, I just kind of like to make sure that everything's right before I take it back to somebody. And those new belts, they could stretch out a little bit, loosen up, so we'll try to check those when we get back, make sure they're still tight. So far, so good. I looked in the garage floor this morning, didn't see no major leaks. There was one little drip of something, but that could have been something that was left over because this truck did have some pretty major leaks. It was pretty wet underneath. The rear main seal was one of the worst that I've ever seen. It was just so brittle. And here we go. This is the first time time in a long time this truck's been on the main road. It seems to be doing good so far. Really hate driving this truck on this old nasty road, but hopefully it doesn't get too nasty. It was dirty anyway from sitting in the garage, but still and yet you don't want to get one just absolutely filthy and then send it back to somebody. Maybe I can run it through the car wash or something if it dries up here a little bit. Yeah, everything seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. Let's turn the heat on, see if it works. Fool with that here in a minute. I only have so many hands. But yeah, I like it. The truck drives really well. Seems to be riding good. I've hit a few little bumps, nothing major. Let's see if it's going to bottom out or not. That's usually an issue, but since I started using the stock shocks up front and the extenders at the back of the stock shocks, it really seems to really help as far as riding goes. I've had some, you'd come down through here, hit a little bump, and it would jerk the steering wheel come out of your hands. If you're lowering one of these trucks, definitely use the stock shocks up front and the extenders in the back of the stock shocks. It's really the only way to go. The drop shocks just suck. Absolutely suck. Let's see how it stops here, see if it dies. Nope. Seems like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Again, you know, these old trucks, when you get one going that's been setting a while, it takes quite a bit of driving to get all the little bugs worked out. But man, this thing's a far sight from what it was. It's came a long way. Speedometer's working, it's jumping around a little bit. That's kind of typical for one that's been setting. I don't hear nothing rubbing. That's good. I'll check all that when I get back. I'm satisfied with it. I'm tickled to death. I'm gonna pull it in the garage and check for leaks one more time, check the belts one more time, and hopefully this thing will go on my trailer and be headed back to Mr. PIB's house. I thought we had a trade worked out on this old truck, but once they seen it lowered, they just fell back in love with it. And I understand, because it looks a lot better. This old truck, it really came a long ways from what it was. And it's driving good. The steering wheel's turned just a little bit to the right. Again, that's typical when you lower one. It's driving good and straight. I don't have any hands on the wheel right now, so it's doing good. I'll try to do a little brake check on it when I get down here and see how it does there. It's not getting hot. It's up to running temperature. I'll watch that, make sure it kind of runs back down there, doesn't get hot. Got good oil pressure. Everything seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. I'm not real sure about the heater. Yeah, see, I'm on the brakes pretty hard there, and I don't have any hands on the steering wheel, so it's stopping good and straight. Again, it's doing everything I want it to do before it goes back to Jimmy. Left turn bill, I couldn't really say I was real satisfied sending that one back to him, but the old truck is just so wore down, and I had talked to Jimmy about putting the V8 and stuff in it, just doing away with that old 6-cylinder. The old carburetor is just all to pieces. Somebody else had it apart. I don't know what all they done to it. It was missing several parts. I had to find just some stuff I had laying around to try to piece it back together. So I think we're going to put a V8 and stuff in that truck and hopefully get it up to the level of this one before it leaves again. And I think he'll be real satisfied. I heard a little bit of something right there. I don't know what that was. I'll check it. Now, of course, you know, you got an old truck and you've lowered it, you're going to have a few little creaks and moans and groans, but now that wasn't bad. I've had several that would come in right there and they would bottom out right there on that bump. I know it's hard to see on this phone. There's a pretty good little hump right there where it made that noise. So okay, I'm gonna pull it in the garage and look it over one more time, and like I said, hopefully this thing's fixing to go back home and get a little more love from Primered is Best. Y'all have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one.